So Marylou Garcia, thank you for joining me today, and wanted to also give a props to one of our blockchain ladies from the Frontrunners League, Tori Sinai, who introduced you to me, and then you introduced me to Sean, whose feature we are putting in the magazine this edition, the 21st edition of Frontrunners Innovate. So we wanted to pull you in because you have a very, very important and pivotal role in what's going on with NixWhistle. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about how you came to know Sean and what they're doing with NixWhistle, what your role is, and then we'll kind of talk about a couple of the offshoots, if you will, from NixWhistle that really speaks to the technology end of things as far as solutions that we're looking for the pandemic right now and beyond. So I'm going to give you the floor. Tell us how you got to know Sean and your role in all of this.
Mary, thank you so much for inviting me. And Tori, thank you as well. Yeah, it's really interesting because it seems like it's been many moons ago, but it actually only happened in January of this year. I met Sean when he pitched at the Caritza Forum. I'm an angel investor. He was one of the presenters, and I really like the idea of NixWhistle because it's a speak up platform that allows employers and employees to create a trusted and safe environment to speak up. So they can speak up either to suggest ideas. Employers can also go in and survey their employees to take the temperature of how they're doing or how they're feeling. Actually very relevant now, right, with pandemic. And the other one is really for them to also be able to raise their hand and speak up if they are noticing something that may not necessarily be right or proper. So whether it be financial fraud that they're uncovering or perhaps sexual harassment, it's really very important for them to be able to do that and be in a place where it's safe and they're not going to be afraid of, okay, she's going to find out and who I am, and then I'm going to be terminated or fired. So we want to be able to do that and really create a trusting environment between employers and employees. That's the platform of NixWhistle. And when I got to talk to Sean further, I really, I like the fact that this was blockchain based, immutable, therefore, and also I found it to be affordable because he has this structured so that it's on a SaaS-based model, so it's very affordable for even smaller companies that actually also need this the most.
Interesting.
So that's how we got.
You know, we were just talking about how your background is in the hospitality space and in hotels and that sort of thing, and so I kind of felt like that would be the first place I would think of as being a need for something like this. I'm sure all over corporations for sure, but if you're a restaurant that has a whole chain or a franchise operation, sometimes that there tends to be a lot of chatter about who's doing what and who's not doing what, especially when there's shifts of people having to come and go and that kind of thing, and
yes,
there might be some turnover. I could see that being something very useful. Well, NixWhistle's just sort of the foundation, what we're finding out, and of course people who read the article will know that it's the foundation and the sort of jumping off point for a couple of other branches that kind of get to the communications space, but in the health industry, more or less. So let's start with Corona Speak, and if you'll tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll move over to Wellness Speak and see where that kind of dovetails with everything that we're talking about here.
So what happened, Mary, it's really interesting because amidst all of this, right, the pandemic happened. I mean, March happened and April came and we were frozen. So what Sean and team did was really to look at what can the company do given what's going on around us with Corona Speak. And if I can, we're a little bit forward now, but if I can take us back to March, April, where if you look at the environment, everything was new, it was uncertain, we were going to go into lockdown, and all of these things were happening around us. And there was really very, very few data available, right? We were seeing this flashed every day, but not enough data, not enough information with regard to COVID-19. So at that time, the company took what I call a bit of a product marketing pivot, if you will. And Sean really looked at, how can I get engineers to come together to create Corona Speak? Corona Speak was created with a lot of volunteers, similar platform as NixWhistle, which is a speak up platform. But what it enabled the company to do is to actually test it out with the Tamil Nadu government in India, so that they can use it where citizens can actually communicate with them with regard to cases, and they'll see what is happening, and they also can be able to communicate back. So it's a platform to have citizens and entities speak together, and also manage. It's also a crisis management tool for them. So that was how Corona Speak came into being. And as we progress, so in terms of the progression, when we looked at this, we also learned, right? We noticed that all of a sudden so much is happening. People's mental wellness came at the forefront, if you will, because all of a sudden we had financial loss, people loved that they're in hospitals and also losing them, friends, family, people that they know, and so much isolation. So we said, okay, this is really another challenge that people are faced with, regardless of where. This is worldwide. We all are feeling that sense of again, loneliness, isolation, loss. And so what we did was the other pivot was to say, is there a way that we can actually create another platform to just allow any citizen to come and say something about what he or she is feeling? And so Wellness Speak actually came into being as a result. It was an offshoot as well of that. The challenge when we did that is always, okay, we can have this platform, but who's going to be the entity that will use this and manage this? And interestingly enough, we actually were able to find a nonprofit that is starting up, and they had a challenge. Their challenge, she posted, and she said, I'm putting together, I really want to, when we got to talk, I said, this is reach out and touch someone. So what she wanted to do was she was able to form a series of volunteers who were willing to give their time to be able to speak to someone who needed their help, but didn't have a platform, if you will, to be able to really get this out into mass audience. So when I saw a post of hers, and I said, hey, look, I think there might be a solution here for the two to come together and see what can be done to address this challenge. And it took a ping and a phone call, and we said, hey, let's have a chat with Sean and team and you and us, and let's see what happens. So we are now in the midst of actually putting that together, the platform along with the volunteer group, and making it happen. It's under development right now, and we're hoping that that's going to be released in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's
I don't think Sean mentioned. I'm not sure he did in the piece any partnerships, but I do know that there are some partnerships. Is there any particular partner that you want to mention while we're on air?
Tori, yeah, we also are a partner with Tori.
Oh, okay. So the blockchain and healthcare today.
Yes, and she really has been such an early. We connected with Tori very early on when we were doing Corona Speak, and Tori again was a great connection for us because of blockchain and healthcare coming together. And so Tori is one of our early advisors, early to the team. She's been very, very helpful to us and very instrumental.
Yeah, she's an out front leader, that's for sure.
Speak and Wellness Speak.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is great. Actually, this kind of ties in, as I mentioned earlier, to the next edition that we're going to put a focus on, and that's mental health. And I feel like that's just so important. It touches my life personally. My mother had some mental illness. that we had to deal with as a family. And I think we did as good a job as anybody could do. It's just a very challenging situation. But something like what we're experiencing now would have been a huge trigger for her. And it would have just made the challenge even greater because of her age and the fact that she was living in assisted living at that point and everything. It would have been a challenge for everybody in her immediate caregiving pool, if you will. So anyway, I'm going to put a focus on that, and it will be nice to kind of track and see how you're doing with Corona Speak and Wellness Speak at that point in time. So from an investor point of view, I think you've done a great job. This is, for seeing
it's
this
early.
yeah, and Tori as well, and also kudos to Sean for seeing this as being something that's needed and spinning off these early on solutions that can help us all out. And it's going to be great to see how this continues to play out and create impact, because that's what we're all about, is impact. So thank you, Marylou. I appreciate it very much, and we'll be checking back with you in the next month.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Mary.
All right, you're
Okay.
welcome.